and welcome to my channel. My name is Martine, and if you are new here, I do videos on Vedic astrology mainly, but also with some tropical insights. And I focus on both relationship and natal astrology. And if you like this video and you would like to hear more content from me, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. And also, if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of topics. Please check out my video descriptions. You will find my contact information there. Thank you. So today's video is going to be in continuation with the predictions for 2022 for the sign of Aquarius. Before I get into it, as usual, the next sign that I'm going to be covering in this series is going to be Taurus. So that's the first thing that I want to get out of the way. And then also in continuation with the introduction of the video, remember that you can use this prediction for both your moon sign and your ascendant sign, especially if the moon sign in your chart is at a lower degree than your ascendant. You might actually be advised to check your moon sign predictions first because they're likely to be more accurate. Okay, so also in continuation with the introduction, some general disclaimers. Remember that this is once again a general reading, so I'm only going to be looking at a few generational planets, which are the slow-moving planets, and also I'm not going to be looking at Mahadashas and Antardashas, which will vary depending on individual charts. So please bear in mind that these are general predictions still, so of course results will vary based on the individual in question. If you would like to have a more specific reading, you might want to consider getting a personal consultation. Okay? Another thing that I want to mention as a disclaimer is the periods for when a planet enters a particular sign may vary depending on your geographical location. So I did, the charts based on basically my geographical location, but they might vary a few days. So like, for instance, in some areas of the world, Jupiter will enter Pisces 5 days later than in other areas of the world, for example, which is why it is important to check your specific locations. And you can do so in an easy, free way if you use astro.com. You want to check my video description because I have mentioned details there on how to use astro.com. I also made a separate video on how to use astro.com to get a bunch of free charts the easy way, okay? And another thing that I want to mention is the color scheme that you're going to be seeing on the charts. So on the screen, I have marked with different colors the aspects of the planets that I'm going to be looking at. I've marked yellow, so the aspects of Jupiter are marked with yellow, the aspects of Rahu are marked with pink, the aspects of Saturn are marked with gray, and is that it? Yeah, pretty much. Also, I haven't marked the aspects of Ketu because Ketu is opposite Rahu, so once again, Ketu is the south node, Rahu is the north node. And Ketu will aspect the opposite placements from the Rahu aspects anyway, okay? That's something you want to take into account. Another final disclaimer is that Rahu enters Aries around April 3rd, 2022. But in order to simplify the charts and the predictions, I have marked it, I have marked the entire chart 1 phase as Rahu in Taurus, even though the chart 1 phase that I have created ends on April 22nd. You want to bear in mind that Rahu will enter Aries around April 3rd. Of course, you also have to calculate it for your specific geographical location to be certain. Okay. So these are some general disclaimers, okay? So getting straight into it, the chart 1 phase, which you will be seeing on the screen, which spans from around January 1st until around April 22nd, 2022. This is when Jupiter will be in Aquarius and Saturn in Capricorn. So the first thing that stood out to me with respect to your chart is Saturn and Pluto in the 12th house, which are a continuation of 2021. And this shows a big transformation with respect to your subconscious mind. Sadly, there could also be financial losses. There could be big expenses during this time, which will feel like a burden. So you definitely need to be very careful and to plan your finances well during this time. Also, avoid any unnecessary spending to avoid getting into debt. Okay. This also shows that there is a deep-seated fear during this time, so most likely you're going to experience some high anxiety. It's also likely that you might experience some level of depression even, and feeling stuck in general, okay? Long-distance travel also will be restricted, and you will particularly resent this, maybe more than others, during this time, as well as your imagination could be going through dry spells, or rather maybe you're going to have negative imagination going wild in terms of rather fantasizing about negative scenarios in your mind rather than using your creativity positively. That's another potential outcome. However, it just shows a dry spell, so especially if you work in a creative field, you might find that it's going to be more difficult for you to come up with ideas during this time, okay? Most likely also because of your anxiety. And if this is the case, you would be advised to pick up a, meditation routine and also just healthy habits, okay? So things like having a regular timetable every day, waking up at the same hour, establishing, some kind of a healthy routine. And this will help you stabilize your mood and your mental well-being and reduce your anxiety. The irony, though, with respect to feeling some kind of a creative block is that the very obstacles you face might actually prompt you to persevere and overcome your limitations in this regard, which could actually lead to breakthrough ideas, okay, with respect to creativity, even with respect to travel, expenses, and or things to do with meditation and spiritual practices. Also, on the plane of psychological healing, if you are going through that, or if you have been making efforts in this direction in the past especially. Jupiter going through your ascendant shows your health is going to be generally good. People during this time will see you in a more positive light than usual. So you will be seen as particularly wise and inspiring, which could propel you into a leadership position, especially among your network of friends and family. People will tend to rely on you for guidance during these times and will tend to trust what you have to say. Saturn will be aspecting the 9th house, and this reinforces the feeling of restriction with respect to traveling abroad. But on the plus side, could make you more perseverant with respect to higher studies and finances and handling your finances. With respect to finances, you should definitely plan well and limit your spending to avoid debt. Rahu in the 4th house, coupled with Saturn's restrictive aspects, shows that you will be particularly antsy and frustrated about not being able to travel during this time. You might feel the urge to even relocate completely because, pretty much. But be careful not to fall for a grass is greener kind of mentality, since especially Rahu in the 4th later on will cause your perception, Rahu in the 4th during this time will cause your perception with respect to your home, vehicle, and matters of family of origin, as well as homeland, to be maybe a little bit distorted. So in other words, you might be tempted to not be grateful for what you have and think that relocating will solve some major problems when in fact it's just an illusion. So you would be advised to just focus on the things that you do like about your situation right now, instead of just focusing on the things that you cannot change. Saturn's aspect on the 6th could show health issues, especially with respect to your digestive system. You could face issues also involving your pets and your co-workers. Jupiter's aspect on the 5th and the 7th houses shows that this is a good time for you to start both short and long-term relationships, especially for women. Rahu's aspect on the houses shows that, on the water houses, shows that you will try to use reason to get to the bottom of your subconscious during this time. So it is a good time for therapy and solving, mental health issues. However, since Rahu can also tend to distort things and create confusion with respect to your feelings and your memories, this is not a good time for you to make any drastic decisions with respect to emotional matters. So, for instance, things like trying to cut out a person out of your life during this time, because you might be seeing things and your memories might be a little bit distorted, even towards the negative side. Ketu in the 10th shows disinterest towards career, society, and social status. Relationship with the father especially could be cold and distant, or the father could be seen as absent somehow in your life, in a way that will bother you, basically. Another potential interpretation is that the father could have some kind of health problems. So you need to watch out for that. Okay, so this is about it. Now, moving on to the chart 2 phase from around April 22nd to around July 21st, 2022. Once again, please calculate your positions with respect to your geographical location, because they could vary with a few days. Okay, so this is where Jupiter in Pisces, Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn moves into your ascendant, so this will be a time when your outlook on life will become serious, mature, responsible. You will feel a strong desire to improve yourself and your surroundings and take charge of yourself and your life. Jupiter in the second house, aspecting the 6th, the 8th, the 10th houses, shows an improved financial situation, good opportunities of employment, as well as expansion in business. Your health will improve. Relationships with the family of origin and your friends, elder siblings will also be good during this time. Ketu in the 9th house, disinterest towards travel. So the overall feeling here is that you might actually grow content with where you are and what you have, and as a result, your interest in traveling will dwindle altogether. Or you will just focus on traveling with your imagination, within your imagination. Rahu in the 3rd shows increase of courage and drive, and a lot of effort will be placed onto some independent venture during this time. So this is true for the entire time when Rahu will be in Aries, which is quite a long time. So there will be an increase of a desire on your part to become financially independent. So you will feel drawn to putting a lot of efforts into these things, maybe getting into investments or taking a second job or side hustle. Relationships with neighbors and younger siblings could be strained, however, during this time when Rahu is in Aries. Saturn and Rahu's aspect on the 7th house shows also some potential difficulties with respect to long-term partnerships, whether involving the romantic partner or a business partner. Jupiter's aspect on the 8th house shows good relations with in-laws. It's also a good time for financial investments and loans. However, since Saturn is going to be going through your 12th house through a large portion of the year, you would be advised to be very careful about loans, because there is a high tendency for you to get into debt that you cannot pay off. So take into account all of these things like increased inflation, etc., etc. Okay, so don't make any weird, extravagant decisions with respect to finances. Okay, the chart 3 phase from around July 21st until the 31st of December 2022. Jupiter will be in Pisces, Saturn in Capricorn. So this is kind of like a combination between the chart 1 and chart 2 phase. So Saturn will be back into your 12th house. So just like in the chart 1 phase, you could again experience increased anxiety and frustrations with respect to your travel plans especially. But on the plus side, with patience and perseverance, it is a good time for you to get results in any kind of creative endeavor. And also with all of the 12th house matters in general, including meditation practices, any kind of spiritual pursuits or spiritual practices, and your expenses and managing expenses. Jupiter in the second house will show, again, good wealth luck during this time, where you will have increased cash flow and material resources at your disposal. But with Saturn in the 12th, expenses will tend to increase as well when compared to the chart 2 phase. So there could be some losses too, maybe unexpected financial losses. This is also a good time for you to enter a business venture, especially together with family of origin, elder siblings, friends. Relations with younger siblings and neighbors, though, might trouble you. Again, this is true for the entire time when Rahu will be going through Aries. There could be unexpected situations with respect to these people, maybe even betrayals and deceptions. So be careful in all your dealings with these people, especially if you have had some kind of bad experiences in the past with them. Okay, so this is, again, true for the entire time when Rahu will be going through Aries, which is basically most of the year and the next year a little bit. You will be more outspoken during this time. You could use your voice, your communication through technological means. So things like podcasts, even YouTube, blogs. And this is a good time for these kinds of ventures. Okay, so you could get some success, some money out of this. Health issues could trouble you, again, a little bit more than in the chart 2 phase. But as long as you stay disciplined, as long as you keep a healthy routine and lifestyle, there isn't much to worry about. Okay, so most likely your issues will clear out. Rahu's aspect on the 7th and 11th houses shows that you could experience some issues in relationships in general. You could get bored with people, or they could be bored with you. So you could experience some kind of unexpected situations involving relationships. Okay, Saturn and Jupiter on the 9th. This is a good time. On the 8th. A good time to invest provided that you leave nothing to chance. Okay, so you take all the precautions and the proper planning, and pretty much. Okay, so this has been pretty much it, and once again, I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video, and also if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of topics. Please check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there. Thank you.